Alright, so we made it. We've done it. We're on our last challenge day. It's free study, which means you can do whatever the hell you want. It's Be a Photographer 10. So, a lot of great entries all over the board. So many different things. I have a bunch picked out. I'm going to go through them. Overall, I just want to say I'm impressed. I know that sometimes it's actually harder to do these challenges with less guidance. So, well done, everyone. Looking these over now. So, before we get started, I just want to say that if you want to enter for the grand prize, which is a think tank bag of your choosing, I suggest, or all you have to do is go to your free study entry, so your day 10 entry, and add the hashtag in a comment, be a photographer. Hashtag be a photographer. That's all you have to do. Everything appears in chronological order when you hashtag it, so it'll only be the most recent entries. Put that in, and we will go through that and choose the grand prize winner. The only thing you have to have done is entered in every challenge from each day. So you have to enter in all challenges. It's okay if they're a little bit late sometimes. All that matters is that you have all 10 up there. We'll be checking that when we pick the winner. So that's all you got to do to be qualified to win the grand prize. Good luck. Think Tank has been nice enough to provide us with some bags, so we'll get one to you. And now let's look over the Be a Photographer free study entries. So, first off, we have It's Lanybug, and It's Lanybug took a picture of some flowers, which I love. However, I think that there's a few things you could do to improve this, and it kind of just involves taking a little bit of extra time. So like you take your photo, when you sit down, you're looking at it. Now how to decide how to crop, frame, and what orientation to make your photo appear in. So basically, which way do I want to flip it? How much do I want to crop or show? And things like that. And I think the best way to do this is trial and error. So what you need to do is take this photo, sit down with it in Photoshop, Lightroom, or maybe on your phone, and just try different crops. Try different ways of rotating it. And see, maybe just do like 10 of them, and then shut your eyes like this, and look at the photo and see what looks best. Because there's so many different ways you could crop this. It doesn't mean any of them are right or wrong, but some might look better than others, and you want to find that best crop. And I think there's a better crop out there, because you have this empty space down here. And I think, honestly, if you cut it, you can't see what I'm doing, if you cut it like right here, it would, in like a square, I think it would be like so much better. But I think you have a great image to work with here. I think your post-processing, it just needs to be touched up on a little bit. And I haven't really taught you guys post-processing yet. So maybe some ideas for some things in the future, how to crop, what orientation to use. I'll make some episodes on that. But I just want to say, when you're making your photo, those are some things to think about. Here we have S. Buyer Photography. And this is of your cat, and I love it. And it's called iPhone Quality. Just goes to show, if you've got the right light, a crappy camera can produce a decent photo. And you are correct. iPhones aren't really crappy. I might have to disagree with you there. But you do have beautiful light. This looks to be window light. You can see in the reflection you got like a plant there or something. And you shot it at the right angle. And not only that, I know I've talked about natural light before, but basically when you shoot natural light, you're going to get the colors of whatever's in the room, so it's going to bounce off there. So you've got the color of this blue right here bouncing off on the bottom of the face because the light's reflecting, which matches the blue eyes, which looks beautiful. And I want to say to you what I said to the last person. Think about your crop a little bit more. Maybe you thought about it and this is what you came up with, and that's fine, but I think the way it's cropped is a little distracting, getting rid of this ear. But then again, I don't know, I kind of like this. So I think this is a good image, but I think it could be fine-tuned a tiny bit. But you're sharp, it's super sharp, great colors, great lighting. Overall, you did a good job. Again, I think it's just the afterwards. Think about how you can improve it a little bit. That could use a little bit of work. Here we have Ashley's Photography, and Day 10 Free Study. I did a series of long exposure figure studies, and this was by far my favorite. So, she is getting these photos by basically taking a photo and leaving her shutter open for a long time. And what that's doing is it's letting light in constantly taking this exposure, and that's how you get this kind of blurry mess of an image. But in her case, it's kind of beautiful. You've got like blurred face, blurred mouth, you can see the necklace and the dress a little bit, and it just looks cool. It's almost like a ghost, And this one just caught my eye. It just was a little different than everybody else's, and I like that you're trying out some different photography techniques in your free study. You know, free study doesn't have to be easy. Challenge yourself. Find something you love, and it's cool you did a bunch of these, and you found your favorite. So well done. So here we have Through the Oaks, and started with the Scrabble tiles. Now I'm here. Thank you, Elmachias, for putting this on day 10 freestyle. This is cool. This is cool for multiple reasons, and I'll tell you why. The lighting is very nice. It's nicely rounded. It's got some shadows in there. I like the angle, and I like the setup involved, and it looks very clean. Ways to improve this photo. I think that your background could be a little more seamless, so maybe throw a piece of white paper down next time, or something without some specks on it, because they're just a little distracting. In addition to that, I think it could have a little bit more fill in the shadows, or maybe just minimize your light source to one light source. So for example, if you look underneath this O tile here, you see how there's multiple shadows? I don't really like that, and it's caused by different light sources, I think. I could be wrong here, but I think that's what it is. So you have different light sources casting different shadows, and if it was up to me, I would create one light source, so maybe use one window or one thing like that. And other than that, though, it's a really good photo. Everything's in sharp. It's laid out nicely, and this isn't a natural thing. You know, you made this, and you laid it out in a very aesthetically pleasing way. So well done. Did I forget to like this last photo? I did. I like it. Alright, here we have Bobby Hopkins and Free Study Lost at Sea. And I like this photograph because it's very simple, and it's very beautiful. And it reminds me of something I would take when I'm on vacation. I like nature photos, especially when I'm traveling. And my only main concern is that your horizon is tilted, and that just means that this line back here is supposed to be straight, because it's kind of how we keep our balance. So it's sometimes hard to notice when the horizon is off, especially when you're just getting your eyes used to photography. But there's tools in post-processing and grids to help you kind of line it up. So make sure you line those lines up. I think if you straighten the horizon on this, you've got a 9 out of 10 photograph here. Other than that, I think you did a great job. So well done. Alright, here we have Tiffany Marie. I couldn't figure out something to do for this, so I decided just to stick with what makes me happy. I love shooting both portraits of animals and people, so here is a young bald eagle who hasn't yet gained all of its white feathers yet. Majestic AF, which means majestic autofocus, of course. And this is cool, and this you have to have good gear to do, I'll be honest, because this is a zoom lens, unless you're friends with the eagle, which you might be, and it's got a really nice depth of field and back. So you can't do this with an iPhone, really, but this is beautiful. Great shot of a bird, and I love your reasoning behind it. I love that you shot what you enjoy, which is the goal of free study. It's to challenge yourself, find something that makes you happy, makes you feel devoted to photography, and then to do it, explore it. And if you love shooting photos of snake eyes, shoot photos of snake eyes. If you love shooting photos of birds, shoot photos of birds. Shoot whatever makes you happy. And that's what Tiffany Marie did here, and that's why I like this image. Here we have 7 Circle Studios, and this is called Battling the Waves, and hashtag Beachbody, hashtag Greece, all these things. And the reason I like this is it's because it's something that's black and white, but isn't usually black and white. Usually when people photograph water, it's in color, and this is somebody who's a bodybuilder, and I like this. It's not a photo that I would ever take, and it kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. And sometimes when I see that in a photographer, it means they're a good photographer, but I haven't quite figured out how to look at their photo. And sometimes I've seen photographers who are been doing this for 70 years, and I don't understand why they're good, and that's just a representation of me not getting to a certain point in my career. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that I have some stuff to learn, and I think that's the way it is with this photo. It's got a look to it, and if you shot a series of photos like this, I think you would develop even more of your look. There's just something about the way you've balanced this with the boat and the guy and the mountains and the wave in the foreground that kind of makes me uneasy, and I think that means you have such a delicate and beautiful eye that I don't even understand it yet. And I think that's really cool. So you did a really good job with this photo. Horizon straight, the exposure is cool. I love the foreground what's in the mid and the background, and it's kind of hazy. And I love they did it in black and white, so really good job. Here we have Lilymon 101, and this free study, standing on a cliff face in this wind, probably wasn't the smartest idea I've had, but I like this, and it looks like it's either shot through a plant or through a window. I think it's through a plant. So we got like some yellow in the foreground here, which is an out of focus plant, and I just like this. It just looks so pretty. And I agree that the vegetation in the foreground is a bit distracting. Honestly, you might not have to get it out of there. You could pretty much, it's kind of a different Photoshop tool, but you could turn this blue and maybe people would forget about it. Darken this area over here. It's kind of hard to get rid of, but you could, and I think that would make this better because it's really not adding much to the photo, but I do think it's taking away because you've got a beautiful way of seeing some rich blue colors, and it's just really well done. Good job with this photograph. Here we have Sequoia Images, Day 10 of Challenge Free Study. Decided to post this image that I re-edited into black and white. And maybe this doesn't fit the criteria of shooting it the day of the challenge, but you know what? That's okay. I still like this photograph. Everything else still works for it. And you know what? I really like it in black and white. And I haven't seen it in color, but I can see why you put it in black and white. It's beautiful. And it really outlines everything that you want to be able to see all this as well as you see it in black and white. You've got great depth of field, you've got great framing, there's a nice foreground, nice background. This is just awesome. Good rule of thirds. This is a great photo, and I really love it. So good job, Sequoia Images. Gotta like these things, because I like them in real life. So I gotta like them on the internet. So here we have XRNT, and this is self-study. Love the challenge, love the picture, I love the sky much, and I love the way the edit came out. And I think you did a really good job here. And one of my favorite things to do is to shoot skylines with silhouettes in them, and you did that here. And it was just laid out nicely. I wish there was a little bit more of a silhouette here to kind of just cover the full bottom of the image. But other than that, I think you did a good job. So well done. Here you have Xenia Void. And this photo is cool. It's got, I think you could develop it more, but I think it's got the right start to it. It's got somebody's shadow climbing a ladder, but they're not there. And I don't know how you did this. I don't know if it's 2 shots or if you're standing in the foreground and you photographed it or what it is, but it looks nice. And there's a bunch of other things in it that kind of distract me, such as the horizon being off and just the shakiness of the camera maybe from your exposure, or it could just be the shakiness of the plants. Now, you know what? Actually, I do like that. It's just got like a cool, eerie feeling to it, and I think you should explore this more. I think you should shoot more of these shadows at night doing things. That's a cool concept, and you could go farther with this, so I encourage you to shoot more of this. I'd love to see what else you create. So here we have Gemma98, and Gemma, she photographed one of her beardies, Bo, on day 8, and today she tried to photograph the other one, and this is Connor. He's a poser. And this is cool. This is definitely taken, I don't know if it's a DSLR, I think so, but I just love how sharp it is. I love your crop, so nothing's chopped out in a distracting way, and I like the focus right here. I think you could play around with this a little bit in the lighting and the color of the background and the places that are white. You maybe could desaturate this white area, and that would help bring him out a little bit more. But other than that, you did a really good job. If you like photographing lizards, I encourage you to photograph more of your lizards. Plus, they're beautiful. So well done. Here we have Logan Camera at Oaks Quarry Park, and it's a free study. Explore. This is cool. This is edited a lot, and it's kind of using HDR, which means high dynamic range. Basically, what you do is you take your darkest exposure of your lightest area and your lightest exposure of your darkest area, and you kind of combine them together to get this kind of surreal looking image. So a sky wouldn't usually look like this, and the ground wouldn't usually be this bright, but I do like it. I feel it's a little bit over edited, and the colors are a little bit off because of this, but I think that if you toned it down a little bit and messed with the balance of the colors and the exposure a little bit more, it will be less distracting and more appealing and be a little bit more beautiful. That is not to say I do not like this image. I'm just seeing in ways you could improve. It's a little bit gritty, if you know what I mean. And if that's the look you're going for, then by all means, keep it. Those are just my suggestions. But the skin tone's like kind of a reddish paler color, and it could be and it just kind of looks dry, if you know what I mean. So it's been pushed to its limits, and I think if you brought it down a little bit, it might help a little. So I'd love to see a re-edit of this. I think your idea is great, and I love that you went out and did this on your own. Obviously, I don't think this is your backyard, so good job. So here we have our last photo, and it's photo by Sam. And I like this photo because it's got a long caption, so I'm not going to read it all out loud. But I like that it's multiple exposures. It's kind of trippy. It took me a while to see this second face up here. And there's no rules on these challenges. You can edit them as much as you want as long as you took the photos. And I think that it's cool you kind of escaped maybe your safe zone and made this self-portrait that could be very personal. So well done, kind of bringing out your emotions. That's hard for me to do, so I respect you for doing it. And this looks very cool, so well done. So our challenge winner for free study is going to be Ash's photography, this shot. And the reason I like this is just that she's exploring what she loves and doing it. She shot a series of them. This is one of them, and I really encourage you guys to just find something you love. Doesn't matter if it's good, doesn't matter if it's bad, and just shoot a lot of it. So we'll be sending you some prizes, basically the lapel pin from Be a Photographer. Those aren't even available yet, so get one of those, and then you just go to my store and pick out something you want, and we'll send it to you. So thank you guys so much for entering. Don't forget to enter into the grand prize challenge. The only thing you have to have done is entered all 10 challenges. If you made it this far, well done. I'll make a little symbol for you to post on your Instagram page tonight, and we can all celebrate completing the challenge together. If you haven't completed it yet and you're watching this, go ahead and finish it up. It's okay if you're a little bit late on the timing. It's just important you finish the challenge for yourself. We're doing this for us, for each other. And also, thank you for commenting, critiquing, helping each other out. I hope we have made some friends here and learned a few things along the way. Alright guys, I will talk to you later.